Good morning, everybody. Rev Rick here with Broadman Baptist Church, and this is the Broadman Word for December 4th, 2020. And it is a marvelous day to be a Christian. Looks like the Lord gave us some sunshine to enjoy today and some slightly warmer temperatures. But anyway, I hope you're having a beautiful day in the Lord, and it's nice to spend a few minutes with you today. I want to talk to you today about God and God having a dream. A dream about us. Humanity waited for a very long time for God to reveal himself, and now we're wrestling with still the question about what is God or who is God. And God is uh, God is God. God is the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, the Holy Trinity. The Holy Trinity is a name for God and always was and always will be. So, how did we know that? We didn't figure it out for ourselves, that's for sure. God revealed it. And where did God reveal it? In His Word. And in His Word, we can find many, many answers to things, but mostly we can understand His grace and His love. So, let me tell you a quick story. It's a good story, and one that sort of sums up this whole what is God thing. God had a dream. It was a waking dream because God does not sleep. And while human dreams sometimes come from lonely places or unjust situations or poverty or lack or need, um, this is not the case. God was not lonely. God had a dream, but it wasn't to make up for any lack in him. Before anything was made by God, there was God. And so the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit enjoyed a perfect communion, perfect togetherness, and perfect joy in their unity. Before anything that was made by God was made, God was not concerned about justice or violence or greed or anything else. There was perfect rightness and equality and fairness within the Trinity. There was no need for courts or for trying to right any wrongs. There was no need for anybody to fight for what was right. There was no poverty or lack of anything. There was no need. Nothing was incomplete. And within the Holy Trinity, there was all wealth, satisfaction, all peace, and all love, perfect love. God was and shall evermore be love. So, something caused God, though, to have a dream, to desire more. It wasn't his joy that caused this, it wasn't his wealth and satisfaction that drove him to desire more. It wasn't a need for peace that motivated him. It was love, an all encompassing, welcoming, and embracing love. God dreamed, and so an entire cosmos was created, and galaxies and planets, and one planet in particular, amongst all the planets, was capable of sustaining life. And of course, life was created in the animals and the fish and the other things. And God made one life form in particular among the others. He made one life form in his own image. A creative mind, a sensitive heart capable of giving and receiving love, a life that could aspire to things beyond just mere survival. Humankind was created, male and female, and in God's image, to be with God, to enjoy Him, to do good, to love. Simply put, God wanted to share with humanity what He enjoyed with the Trinity, the unity and the love and the satisfaction that He enjoyed with the Trinity. And so, to be truly made in God's image, humankind had to be free, because God is certainly free. He could not have made us robots for his amusement, or he could not have not given us free will. To do either of those things would not have been to create us in his image like he said. So we then took that and ran with it, so to speak. Because we have free will, unfortunately, many have chosen to reject the love that created us and gave us that free will. Sort of an interesting paradox that humans engage in. We wonder where God is and where his protection is and why he lets things happen. And at the same time, we turn around and reject him and shake our fist at a king and then expect his protection. That is not how it works, obviously, and that's the situation we find ourselves in the world today. Nonetheless, people question, and people also question how these things can happen in the world. How can there be so much strife and division? But yet, when you ask those same people, should there be unilateral principles of morality, then oh, no, no, no. We all get to define truth for ourselves. We all get to have our own morally relative set of standards. And don't force your religion on me. Well, it is the lack of those things that allowed us to ruin God's dream and his vision for people. And it didn't take us too long. It happened in the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve, and didn't get any better from there. So much so that God himself had to come down to earth and sacrifice himself on a cross for us. So today, I want you to consider God's dream and his original intent for humanity, and what our role now as his professed believers, his ambassadors, his priests, and the vessels through whom he's chosen to make his plea to the world. What does that mean? What is our part in bringing about God's dream for the kind of unity, peace, justice, wealth, and worship that the Trinity originally had, that was intended for us to have with God? What should you do? How should you conduct yourself? What is your life's sermon going to be preached out as today? Is it going to be a gospel of the truth? Is your sermon today going to be one that could be pointed to as upstanding, God-honoring, and furthering the kingdom? Or is it going to be something else? Too often we preach the false gospel of silence when we really should be speaking God's truth. We preach the false gospel of rejection when we don't act as the Bible directs us to act. And then probably the most sad, we sometimes preach the false gospel of apathy when we just simply are overwhelmed or tired or busy or all of the above. And we pass on opportunities to grow spiritually and to spread God's blessings, to take the vertical blessings that we receive from God and pass those on out to others, so that we can live out Luke 6:38, where the blessings that we put out, in whatever measure we put out, are returned to us the same. People forget these things, and then we end up in a grace deficit, and we end up not fulfilling God's dream. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope this was meaningful to you. I want you to always remember that I love you, I pray for you, and I will see you next time. Take care.